There's a memorial service for 30-year-old Mandla Maseko, popularly known as Spaceboy, who will be held at the Airforce Base in Swartkop, Pretoria today. Maseko died in a motorcycle accident at the weekend. He became popular after he was said to become the first black African to fly into space. Our reporter Sipho Stuurman is at the memorial service and we crossed live to him. Sipho, thank you very much indeed for coming through. Just tell us a bit about Mr. Maseko. I mean, he had this opportunity of a lifetime to travel to the edge of space and back. What do we know about him?
Well, a very good morning to you and our viewers at home. It is really just a sad morning as we come to realize that indeed Mandla Maseko has passed on at a young age of 30. Of course, he came to prominence becoming, the first young person who was a black African who was due to go to space after, of course, winning that competition and beating a million others. So it was quite an accomplishment, and I think the whole country was behind him. At the time that he won the competition, he was just 25 years of age, and we understand the trip was supposed to have happened in 2015. He had won it in 2013, however, there were some delays, and unfortunately then, of course, the accident happened over the weekend, and he passed away. And you will see on social media there's been various tributes, just people, pouring and sharing, their heartfelt condolences. And it just goes to show that there was a lot of support for him from the public, and people feel that we have been robbed of somebody that had a bright future ahead of him. Of course, many others can relate to Mandla's story, coming from, the townships in Soshanguve, growing up there, and to be on the way to become the first black African that was set to go on space. That would have been a great achievement, and it's quite a sad story that he never actually got to go on to that trip. And I think it would have meant a lot for the country to have seen him and to have a first black African from South Africa to be there at such a young age. And of course, his colleagues today have gathered here at the Airforce in Swartkop, to pay tribute to him. And guests and family are arriving just behind me here. If you can just see that. So certainly we expect to hear a lot more about him, and I also see that Tshwane legend bikers are also here. We also know that he was an avid biker, and unfortunately he was on his motorbike when he got into that accident. But just to get a bit more about today and his role within the SA Air Force, I am joined by Colonel Eugene Motati, who is the spokesperson of the South African Air Force. Thank you very much, Colonel, for your time. It seems that we can say to Mandla, gone too soon.
Completely true and correct. It's quite sad indeed, because this thing happens. Just your description of the individual fits, because just a few weeks ago we come from Newcastle, where we had a camp for two weeks, and the drive was to bring aviation awareness to the young lads who are at school, to assist them to make correct choices and so on, so that they can fit in the future into the aviation space, whether be it in the Air Force or industry. And Mandla played that role in his own individual space. He didn't wait to be assigned by the Air Force. He did it out of the passion he had for aviation and space. So it is quite a blow to everybody who knew him. He affected a lot of people in a positive way. In my personal description, I think when you look at what he has achieved and you compare that to his age and the lives he has touched, you come to a conclusion that Mandla lived as if he knew that he had so little time, so he had to do all these things before he goes. And he did so much in so much of short space of time. So we are devastated as the Air Force, and we cannot overemphasize our sadness over it. But it's life. All we wish is that those that he affected and touched and had interacted with will carry the banner and hoist it as high as they can and run with it, into the future, and guarantee and give our young people hope that there's something to live for. Amidst all the problems and challenges that we might face as communities and so on, Mandla is a proof that there are sparks in our townships. There are people with ambition, with dream, with vision, and not only did he believe in these things, he exerted himself, he invested himself thoroughly and completely into the space. I mean, the competition he won that you just earlier referred to, it was a multinational participation type of competition, and he won out of the last group of about 23 fellows from different countries. So you can see it was not an Air Force program, that one, it was outside of the Air Force, but he continued to hoist our banner.
He took initiative, but of course he was also known to be a motivational speaker, and I think for the Air Force he's somebody that has been going out there sort of advertising the fact that the Air Force has potential careers for a variety of people from different backgrounds.
Yes, indeed he did. That is the description of him perfectly. He was a community worker. He took it upon himself. As I said, he didn't wait for instruction. He saw the gap, he saw the requirement, and he fitted it. He took the responsibility without position. So we really are saddened about that. Mandla was, at the time of his passing, was also involved in the program that the Air Force has embarked on to prepare our young lads who have been earmarked for training outside of the country. So he was invested in that to show them personally, to assist them to understand the dynamics of those countries, the cultural differences, what to expect, what to prepare for, and so on. So he did a good job, and those that he worked with are saddened by this news.
And of course, today his colleagues are coming to honor him. The SAN, the SA Air Force coming here for this, setting up this memorial service is to honor him, of course, and his memories.
Indeed, today it's a day set aside to say farewell to one of our own, an aviator, an airman at heart, and all his peers and colleagues, senior and junior, will be here. From the community, the organizations that he affiliated with in his private life, they'll be here, they'll be accommodated, and they'll take part in the program. However, this is still a military program.
All right. Well, there you have it from the spokesperson of the SA Air Force, Colonel Eugene Motati, just telling us that they're expecting senior to junior officials to come and pay their respects to Mandla Maseko, known as Spaceboy.
Sipho Stuurman, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. We'll try to catch up with you a little later on. Mandla Maseko's death comes at a time when the world is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first moon landing.
Absolutely.
I was reading a transcript of an interview that Mandla did, and he said this trip, he really wanted to motivate and encourage and inspire the youth of Africa.
I suspect he'll continue to motivate us posthumously.
His legacy definitely will live on.